Hi, I'm Rev Myron. I'm a Pathways of Light minister, and I've been a Course in Miracles student for 40 years. I've been going through the lessons for several years now, asking Jesus to clarify for me. And then I write something from that clarity, and that's what I'm sharing with you today. So let's get started. We're still in the review lessons, and we are on lesson 215. I am not a body, I am free, for I'm still as God created me. Love is a way I walk in gratitude. The Holy Spirit is my only guide. He walks with me in love, and I give thanks to Him for showing me the way to go. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. Oh, yes, the Holy Spirit is my only guide, and I am so grateful. I do still notice ego thoughts, but not all the time, not even most of the time. And I'm not interested in keeping them or believing them. I sometimes get caught up in trying to decide what to do and how to do it, but there is an underlying calmness that is the love of God, and it pulls me back. I did this with my house repairs last year. All the inside was finished and had been finished for a while, and there was work that needed to be done on the outside, and it was hard to get contractors. Thousands of people needed work done. Once in a while, I would start worrying about it and trying to figure out how to do this, but it didn't sustain my attention for long. I chose not to worry about this and didn't force something to happen. I waited to be guided, and sometimes the guidance was clear and sometimes not so clear. But I knew that if I want guidance, it will come. Some people think we shouldn't ask for guidance in these worldly things, but I've never felt that was true. In the Song of Prayer, Jesus says this: You have been told to ask the Holy Spirit for the answer to any specific problem, and that you will receive a specific answer if such is your need. You have also been told that there is only one problem and one answer. In prayer, this is not contradictory. There are decisions to make here, and they must be made, whether they be illusions or not. You cannot be asked to accept answers which are beyond the level of need that you can recognize. Therefore, it is not the form of the question that matters, nor how it is asked. The form of the answer, if given by God, will suit your need as you see it. This is merely an echo of the reply of His voice. The real sound is always a song of thanksgiving and love. And in chapter 30, the rules for decision, Jesus says we make decisions continually and that our day is not at random, that it depends on the decisions we make. And He tells us this: You will not make decisions by yourself, whatever you decide, for they are made with idols or with God. And you ask for help of Antichrist or Christ, and which you choose will join with you and tell you what to do. And it also says this: For you and your advisor must agree on what you want before it can occur. It is but this agreement that permits all things to happen. Nothing can be caused without some form of union, be it with a dream of judgment or the voice for God. Decisions cause results because they are not made in isolation. They are made by you and your advisor, for yourself and for the world as well. So I don't want to make any decisions with the Antichrist, that is, with the ego or the wrong mind. And so I ask for the guidance of the Holy Spirit in all things, and I do my best to accept and follow that guidance. Yesterday, I was caught up in an ego story briefly. I was worried about someone I love. He was making choices that would hurt him, and I could think of nothing I could say or do to help him. I was worried about my friend. He was making some choices that would hurt him, and I could think of nothing I could say or do to help him. But then I thought of two things, both coming from the guidance I had asked for. First, I stepped back from the story and I asked the Holy Spirit to correct my thinking. I knew that it was not my place to tell him what to do. I also knew that I could choose happiness or I could choose anxiety. Which choice would indicate who I asked for advice? If I looked at this situation from the perspective of the ego, I would suffer. If I looked at it from the perspective of the holy mind, I would know what to say or do, if anything. So I was guided to this passage in chapter 30. It says, the Christ in him is perfect. Is it this that you would look upon? Then let there be no dreams about him that you would prefer to seeing this. And you will see the Christ in him because you let him come to you. Of course, this is the answer to this problem. The second thing I was to do was to remember who he is. When I look upon my friend, I must see in him as perfect as the Christ that is in him. To do this, I must let go of any dark dreams I have of him. I let go of the image I had made. I let go of the idea that he is helpless before his choices and that he is less than God created him. As I did so, I let the Christ come forward, and that was all I was aware of. There was no more anxiety or frustration. There was just love and trust. I'm very grateful for my guide. I get lots of help on this path, suggestions, teachings, and more, but everything passes through the Holy Spirit. It is in me and part of me, and is the truth and the light that keeps me on the path to myself. How could I not be grateful? I have facilitated courses on gratitude several times. It's a really good for me to do this with other people. We join in teaching and learning with each other, and gratitude is more meaningful to me now than it's ever been. There's a prayer on the back of the booklet that I love and that is so perfectly expresses my thoughts on gratitude. It says, in gratitude, I heal. I let gratitude lead me home. I now appreciate, accept, and give thanks for all that I have inherited as a child of God. In gratitude, I follow the kind and gentle guidance of my inner teacher. In gratitude, I now extend love and appreciation to all equally. In gratitude, I accept the truth that all is one in the mind of God. I gratefully see and celebrate the wholeness, innocence, and perfection of my brother. We are one, joined with our Father in heaven. In gratitude, I hail. A while back, while I was still struggling with the process of making spirit my only guide, I received this message, and it was a guiding light for me. Just this morning, I was thinking about several things I need to accomplish today, and I started feeling anxious about getting it done. I stopped and asked for guidance as to what I need to know to do now, and I did that. I will keep asking during the day, trusting that I will be led and that what needs to be done will get done. There is no anxiety when I do this, and I almost always live like this now. But here is what I wrote in my journal, and this was a while back when I was still struggling with this. I said, you are my guide, Holy Spirit, and I'm grateful. Sometimes, though, even now, I follow ego, and afterward, I wish I had not. And the Holy Spirit said, child of God, do not deceive yourself. The choice for ego was not made without your full cooperation. It did not just happen. It was not forced upon you. You are God's only creation, and your desires command the universe. If you are not happy with the choices you have made, choose another guide. I stand in love, ready to guide you to true happiness. You feel discouraged right now because you look behind you at seemingly endless dreams of separation, none of which brought you more than momentary distraction and often left you depressed and disheartened. Look not behind you. The child of God does not live in the past. You look before you with echoes of failure beating the drum of defeat in your head, and you see only the certainty of more disappointment. Do not look forward, for the child of God does not live in the future. Divine light of God, you live in this moment, and this moment is all there is. You live not in the illusion, but above it. You decide in this present moment the quality of the dream. Through your beliefs and your desires, you create the moment you want. Decide with me, Holy One, and the moment will be full and wholly joyful. Truly, it is not hard, and it is your choice. With practice, you can choose to stop prior to every word, every breath, and ask for my guidance. We can walk together through this dream, and it will be a happy dream. And I said, I know this is true. When I've been listening to you, Holy Spirit, I feel light and free. I feel like I've shaken off the shackles I'd attached to my own feet. Then suddenly I feel dispirited and begin to question and doubt. I know I must be listening to ego, and yet I don't remember making that choice. Why did I do that? And the Holy Spirit said, you were happy because you made the choice for happiness. And this is a choice you're learning to make more and more often. But it is not a choice you fully embrace yet. You sense that if you stay in this kind of joy very long, you will not want to leave it. And you still believe there is something to be gained from playing in the illusion you created, some drama you have yet to experience, some possibility you have not yet tasted. You cling to the idea you can find some kind of satisfaction in the separation story and that you can make something worth having if given one more chance. The only good use of this past is to see that thousands of lifetimes have not been enough to reach this strange and undefined goal you have set for yourself. 1,000 more will not do it for you either. This is not a sin, and you are still the perfectly free Son of God. You can play in dreams for as long as you want without concern that you have actually done something unforgivable, for in truth, you have done nothing at all. However, your experience will be one of hellish nightmares, interspersed by moments that seem to be devoid of misery, and you call these moments happiness. Oh, precious child of God, you are made for so much more than this. Your inheritance waits upon you. For the sake of love, do not delay any longer. I stand beside you, ready to guide you to your truth. Merely ask in any moment, what would you have me do in this moment? And the answer will be in your mind. Does that seem too much? Do you think that you cannot take that moment to ask? Think on this. When you do not ask me, you have just asked the ego. Your mind is split. There's ego and there's the holy mind where I abide. And only I can be said to truly exist. So when you ask for guidance of the ego, you ask for guidance of an illusion. You ask for guidance from that which does not know. Make no decisions without me. The moment that is before you is the moment of your salvation. See the moment for what it is. This is its purpose, not the purpose the ego would give it. Walk with me this day, my precious child. Walk with me in love, for that is what you are. And until you choose to recognize your true self, you will feel lost and abandoned. It is just a false perception from a false guide. But because it is your desire, it will feel very real and very frightening to you. Walk with me instead and spend your day in gratitude for the love that you are. It was a beautiful, beautiful message. And so here's Regina's tips for this lesson. She said, today we simply remain in right gratitude. Right gratitude is gratitude for awareness, like presence as it is. When wrong-minded perceptions enter our awareness, we will notice that the wrong-minded perception is caused by judgment. The mind has decided that one thing or circumstance is better than another. After noticing the comparison in the mind, we will relax, let go of comparison, and replace it with gratitude for awareness, life presence. In this way, we walk in love today. In my thoughts, refusing to judge and compare is the only way I can imagine being in gratitude consistently. I'm aware of the tendency to think that one set of circumstances is good and another is bad. When I notice this in my mind, I let it go. When I do this, I'm aware of myself, my true self, as what allows thoughts to come and go, but that remains untouched by them. It is not something I hold on to yet, but it is precious in those moments of awareness. Thank you for joining me today in this lesson. And if you found it helpful, then please like it. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. And I'll be back tomorrow with another lesson.